American Hostile Championship Wrestling brings you A Night with the King. This is a Fraternal Order of Eagles Scholarship fundraiser on November the 9th, 2009 at 600 East Washington Street in Hayta, Missouri. That's right, November the 9th. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. and the show starts at 7:30 p.m. All advance tickets are only $10, $12 at the door. Call Mark for tickets at 636-232-3313. A Night with the King. Stop right there. That's right. We have a new king of pro wrestling, and that's Derek by God King. Ringside with Derek will be just in case. We'll also have the LA Hustlers, the Missouri Bad Boys, and many, many more. A Night with the King. Hayta, Missouri. Be there or be square.
I didn't give a damn, but now here we are. So what do you want from me?
Shooting the Shiznit is sponsored by SpunKlube.com. SpunKlube is an award-winning personal lubricant that's fun. SpunKlube is available in 4 varieties: hybrid, pure silicone, natural, and pink. Place your order today at SpunKlube.com and tell them Shooting the Shiznit sent you.
Anyone can suffer from recurrent or punctual erectile dysfunction due to stress, fatigue, or medical conditions. Stop feeling bad about it. Have better sex with proven solutions. Blue Chew can now offer you the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis at a fraction of the price, discreetly delivered to your door. Just pick the package that matches your needs and make sure you never get caught off guard at the moment you least want it. Blue Chew will help you gain your confidence back in the most convenient way. No waiting rooms, no appointments required, no embarrassing face-to-face meeting with your doctor. Your online prescription will be approved within 24 hours. You're just minutes away from a heightened sex life. Your performance will be as great as your dreams.
Use promo code STS. Get your first month free. All you have to do is pay postage and handling. Now on with the show.
To shine, feeling the love, I know we'll be fine. Life with this wealth, we strong, we gon' strive.
All right, we're live
seeing the signs of legacy
in Jonesboro, Arkansas, and I have in the green room. I'm bringing him over, Adam Parsons. How you doing, Adam?
I'm doing good. I didn't know you were in Jonesboro. That's the hometown of the one and only Randy Hales.
That's right, hometown of Randy Hales, but I went to college here and actually met Randy there in Jonesboro. It was the first time I ever met Randy and Eddie Marlin, and my whole history's there in that town when it comes to, I started in Blytheville, Arkansas, and I know you probably have heard that town, and then when I went to college, it was in Jonesboro. It was one of their spot shows. It was one of Eddie's shows, and had a great time going for many years. Here's I want to start all the way, and then I want to know how you got wrapped up with Jerry. We had Jerry Jarrett on the show. We've had Jeff on the show. We've had a lot of Memphis guys, and it seems like this has all kind of started as Memphis, but looking through the channel, and you guys, we'll talk about the Roku channel, tell you how to get there. If you listen to this the first time, I want you to know how to get to the Roku channel. But I want to know, I mean, these are really old tapes, and I say tapes because that's where I was. I tape traded for many years. But you're not that old, are you, Adam?
No, I'm not. But a lot of people, since I'm more on screen, a lot of people just assume that when they see Parsons on there that I'm the only Parsons. But lately, my father, Rock Parsons, has been doing a little bit more hosting with me. It's getting on the screen as well, so people realize there's two of us. My dad started purchasing tape libraries, and actually about 1990, he bought a small amount, I think 15 or 20 hours from Dick the Bruiser. And then he ended up a couple years later, he bought 15 or 20 hours from the Sheik. He bought 15 or 20 hours from George Cannon. And he kind of stopped for a while, and he ran into Pedro Martinez's son, Ronnie Martinez, which if you were a tape trader, I'm sure you've heard of PM Films. That's where most of that Southwest ICW, IWA was all on there.
Right. Yeah. If you tape traded or that's what happened was you'd buy it from them and then everybody would copy it and send it to their friends. So
Yep. And see, that was one of the problems with the library is that Ronnie didn't realize that people were buying one copy and then copying it and sending it out to everybody else, and sometimes they were making people pay for it. So he was getting. He was probably in his early 70s at that point, and my dad asked him if he ever thought about selling it, and he did. He had already sold half of it to the Okerlund family, which is classic wrestling, and then he sold the other half of it to us. So that's kind of how we got started. We have about 2,000 hours of footage overall, and then we got in with Mr. Jarrett, which I know you just asked that question. I'll get to that in a second. And even though Jerry doesn't retain any of the rights to Memphis, actually it's a guy, his name's Rick Crane, that owns all the footage. No one that owns the masters. No one really owns the real rights to it, except for the guy that would own it at this point because it was never copyrighted. So we get Mr. Crane involved and at least those tapes through him. Barry Owens in Portland was someone that my dad had got hooked up with through he was going to put a newsletter every month for all the events that were going on in Portland. His name's Mike Rogers.
I used to get his number. We traded
okay.
I did a newsletter back in the day, Wrestling Riot, and we traded Mike was a really Mike's that's a really crazy name that you mentioned that. I haven't heard his name in years, so.
Yeah, Mike is a really nice guy, and actually he went out and copied every picture that he ever took in Portland as a photographer.
Oh, wow.
And sent them to my dad for free. So I've got about, I don't know, I'd say probably 10,000 pictures from the Portland territory, and they're all from Mike, and they're not digital. I mean, he went out and actually copied them, had them printed out, and gave them to us and put them in a book, and it's pretty cool. But yeah, so Mike got us hooked up with Barry Owens, and we released the footage through him. The Polynesian stuff, Hawaii, which hasn't really played yet, not very much, maybe a match here or there on a special. I was released through Lars Anderson. Lars and my dad met in about 1982 and remained kind of acquaintances since then. And then we actually got him booked at FanFest in Charlotte for Greg Price. I think it was maybe one of the last ones they did. It's the same. Lars did his shoot interview the same day. The shoot interview he did with High Spots. We kind of got that hooked up for High Spots to bring him in, and then we kind of made an offer to him to release the stuff through him. So most of it was through PM Films, all the Southwest, all the IWA, all the ICW, some of the Detroit, some of the Indianapolis. And like I said, my dad also brought some of that off, Dick the Bruiser and the Sheik, and then the rest of it is leased out through the different territories that I mentioned.
Right. And how did you're talking about your dad getting all this old wrestling, so I know that's part of you being a fan, but talk to me. I'd like to know how you become a fan and how it all started. Where was the first time you went to wrestling and stuff like that?
Actually, it's weird. I'm the youngest of five, and my dad always tells people when all the other kids were 3, 4, 5 years old, they were wanting to watch SpongeBob, and ever since Adam could watch TV, he was watching ESPN or he was watching wrestling. So I would say the first time I ever saw wrestling, I was probably too young to realize it. My dad, he was a tape trader, just like yourself. So if he didn't own the stuff, if it wasn't something he had already bought from somebody, or if it wasn't something that like a spot show he ran himself, or if it wasn't something that he'd already bought from PM Films as a fan, not before he purchased it, then it wasn't being played on my TV. He wasn't playing much WWF when I was a kid. I might watch a little bit on Monday night, but I had to go to bed by 9, so I don't even really remember watching any of that growing up. Tommy Rich was my first favorite wrestler.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up and watched a lot of Georgia Championship Wrestling, and I watched a lot of Memphis. So I loved Tommy. I loved Jerry Lawler. I loved Bill Dundee. And I don't think I was old enough at that time to realize the stuff I was watching was already 30 years old.
That's what I was fixing to say. That was, you were watching all that way after it was already taped. And yeah, I'm 53 this year, so I'm privileged to be in the middle of, since 1978 till, that's when I become a wrestling fan, and so able to watch a lot of the classic Memphis stuff as it happened, and me thinking, and this is what, this is why we got into tape trading. This is why people sold tapes, is because mainly we all thought at some point that we never would be able to see this stuff again. It never would air again. We had no idea YouTube would exist. And so what we did was we just hoarded it. I mean, we really did. I had at one time 1,000 tapes. I was renting an apartment in Jonesboro. I just got out of college, and I decided instead of having a roommate, I would just use one room for videotapes and VCRs, a copy of the tapes. I mean, that's how hardcore I was about my collection. And it was all on the floor, and you could walk and you could pick out. I mean, it was a business. But that's why we did what we did, is that we didn't think we was going to be able to watch it again. And you try your best to get the best quality, which I know you probably had to do a couple of things where you find a better quality of this and that. But that's the reason we did what we did. But there's so much stuff out there. The channel, the official name of the channel is Jarrett. Go ahead, tell everybody, and how to get to Roku.
Okay, it is Jarrett Parsons Wrestling TV. We are on Roku. It's 100% free. It has all the stuff that I just mentioned. Plus, I'm probably leaving out a lot. We do some shoot interviews and some different things as well. But again, if you don't have it on your Roku, you go in the Roku, you search, like you're going to search for a channel. Just type in Jarrett Parsons Wrestling TV. Sometimes you have to type in the whole thing before it'll come up for some reason. Once it comes up, you go down 2 spots. It says Add This Channel. Click on it, and it's all yours, free, 24/7. Now, one thing I do want to talk about, and you'll be the first person to know this other than maybe my dad made a Facebook post about it on his own personal page, is we have just got a deal with Amazon Prime, and they're going to start putting our stuff on Amazon Prime for us. Along with, right now we're in contract negotiations for an app that instead of us going back on Fire Stick, we had some contract disagreements with our bandwidth provider over that, so we kind of took it down. They gave us a price, and once we got on, the price was 10 times more than what it was.
Wow.
But now we've got a guy that wants to make an app for us to where everyone could just download it and he can get it linked up through Fire Stick and linked up through however you do that, because I'm not very tech savvy when it comes to that. So, but there's 2 new places they'll be able to reach us as well. You'll be able to get us on Roku for free, Amazon Prime for free, and then our app will be free.
Wow. All right. That's awesome, because I went through it when I first heard about it, and it just seems like when I went back, if you go back 6 weeks later, you're like, wow, how much shit do these guys have? I mean, that's what I'm thinking to myself, and it really does remind me of when I was tape trading, and you get someone's collection that has a lot more stuff or different stuff than you. You recently added some stuff with in Portland. We'll talk about each one of these territories just real quick, but it was a Harley Race, a Billy Jack Haynes match that was, and I've never seen that match.
Yeah, it's 2 out of 3 falls, and it's very, very good. And actually, I had never seen it. Here's really how this works. It's kind of amazing when I tell people this, because they think that, really, because Jarrett's name's on it, that there's like a big office of people working on this stuff all the time. Here's what really happens. My dad sits down and watches everything, times everything out, writes down who's on it, whatever, does it all by hand because he's 58 years old, so he's not about to get on a laptop and type it up. He probably watches it on his laptop or the TV, but he's writing it still handwritten notes. Hands those over to my brother with the digital master. My brother goes, throws it all together. That's it. Everything's done between two people. Now that I've moved to Western Kentucky, I'm not any longer really feel like I'm not as much involved in it as I was because I coach high school football as well. So during football season, I have absolutely no time to do any of that. We were going about 50-50 when it first started. I was editing, producing some of the shows and putting them together. My brother was doing the other half. But now for about since August, I've done everything that has came up on that channel.
Wow.
So it's pretty amazing. He puts in 15, 16-hour days.
That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Shooting the Shiv Net is sponsored by SpunkLube.com. SpunkLube is an award-winning personal lubricant that's fun. SpunkLube is available in 4 varieties: hybrid, pure silicone, natural, and pink. Place your order today at SpunkLube.com and tell them Shooting the Shiv Net sent you.
This is your bedroom. This is your bedroom with Blue Chew. Blue Chew uses the same active ingredients as in Viagra or Cialis, but now comes in chewable form. Chewable means better, cheaper, and works faster than pills.
I've tried Cialis, I've tried Viagra. Blue Chew works the best. It's a fraction of the cost. Blue Chew's definitely gotten the job done.
No in-person doctor visit, no waiting in line, no more awkwardness.
Blue Chew allowed me to have more sexual freedom because it kicked in and worked faster.
Ordering Blue Chew is an absolute no-brainer for any man.
Blue Chew makes my girlfriend, want to put up with me in bed.
I felt like I did when I didn't have ED.
Order online to get your first month free.
I want my girlfriend to want me, and with Blue Chew, she really does. Blue Chew is the future of manhood.
That's BLUE chew.com. Promo STS, and you get to try it for free.
Wow.
I hear you.
Wow.
American Hostile Championship Wrestling brings you A Night with the King. This is a Fraternal Order of Eagles Scholarship fundraiser on November the 9th, 2009 at 600 East Washington Street in Hayta, Missouri. That's right, November the 9th. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. and the show starts at 7:30 p.m. All advance tickets are only $10, $12 at the door. Call Mark for tickets at 636-232-3313. A Night with the King. Stop right there.
Hey,
That's right. We have a new king of pro wrestling, and that's Derek by God King. Ringside with Derek will be just in case. We'll also have the LA Hustlers, the Missouri Bad Boys, and many, many more. A Night with the King. Hey, Missouri! Be there or be square.
I didn't give a damn, but now here we are. So what do you want from me?
Hey, we're back from a commercial. We're with Adam Parsons. Adam, for some reason, I want to call you Alan Parsons. Alan Parsons Project. I know that's. I know that. Do you have a brother named Alan?
I do not. I have a brother named David, Michael, Ashley, and Taylor. David was a all-state star quarterback, 6'6", ran a 4.4 as a senior, so he was pretty much dominating people whenever he was on the news.
Oh, wow.
That's
great to live up to that, man. Come on now.
Yeah. On the nightly news, whenever he scored a touchdown, he played corner, and if he got an interception, this one guy on the sports show would always say, and it's the David Parsons project. So, yeah,
and then you're sitting there saying, look, I got an a C, Dad. Look, I'm good, too. Yeah.
No, I was All-State as well, but I didn't run a 4.4 and wasn't 6'6".
Woo!
I played offensive line, so.
There's an old joke that Jerry Lawler used to tell. There's nothing athletic about this boy but his feet. So there we go. So let's get with Jerry. Jerry, how did you, because you got a lot of stuff with Jerry. Jerry was just so super nice about coming on the podcast. And I had technical difficulties. It was funny because I'm setting this stuff up. It's set up every day. And if you deal with anything technical and if you're listening to me and you do a podcast, you know exactly what I'm saying. Then you get in and something's been changed and you're not hearing anything. So it's one of those things. And he tells me, he says, here, just call my phone. I'm going to do some gardening. And so when you get ready, you tell me and I'm just thinking I've got Jerry Jarrett, who I've never talked to. Well, I've shook his hand a couple times, but I've got him out in the garden waiting on me to call. But he was just super sweet about it. How did you get hooked up with Jerry? And Jerry's all over the channel.
Yeah.
And it's his name too, so.
Right. Actually, how that started was my dad had got hooked up with Rick Crane first, the guy that has all the masters of the Memphis footage.
And just go ahead. You can put Rick. Yeah, Rick Crane has a huge collection. If you search, can you do that? You can search some of this stuff from YouTube. He has it up, but if you want it on DVD and want it, you can get it from him.
I believe it's 70s TV, and that's his. When you talk about if anybody out there is a fan of 70s Memphis, I'll tell you how much Rick loves 70s Memphis. He won't even give us a hush. So he'll give us anything from the 80s, but he's like, the 70s is my baby, and I'm not giving it up. And he wants top dollar per episode to get it, and it would be worth it. But there's a lot of good stuff in the 80s, and we're going to just kind of let him do the 70s, and we'll do the 80s. But anyway, my dad got linked up with Rick first, some way, somehow. And so he's released it from Rick, and he thought, we should interview some of the Memphis guys and put it along with the footage. Now, this is in 2015 or 2016. So an idea of a Roku channel was nowhere in sight. My dad, we've actually released over 50. I don't remember the exact number. We released over 50 DVDs through our distributor, which you can get on Amazon, and they're on Kmart's, or not Kmart, went out of business, but they used to be on Kmart's website. They're on Walmart's website. If you go to Amazon and type in JADAT, just JDAT Sports, all of our titles will come up. But my dad got a hold of Jarrett and messaged him about doing an interview with him for a Memphis DVD. And my dad said, I'd like to cut you in as part of it for being on it. And he said, but maybe we could work out some sort of deal where I give you a small percentage of everything, because even though you didn't retain the rights to any of this, without you, none of it would be possible. So my dad,
right.
It was being a gentleman. So Jerry invited us to his house. We went in and interviewed him. We interviewed him for about 2 hours, and all of a sudden he says, "I want to take you upstairs." So after we were done, he takes us upstairs. We walk up the steps and into his office, and I walked through the office door, and it was like it was like I had saw the Pope, or I saw the second coming of Jesus. I saw the statue that spins.
Oh, wow. Yes.
And it's sitting on his desk, and I was like, wow. Like, I don't really get too excited when I meet other wrestlers or anything, but I was like, that is probably the coolest thing I will ever see in my life. Like, there's a lot of history with that statue. So anyway, we sat down, and Jerry, which actually I believe he's done a lot of podcasts for us, but I actually believe I listened to the one he did with you. So I'm sure you'll know about this. He sits us down and starts telling us about his idea for Olympus Wrestling. Did he talk about Olympus at all when he was on with you?
Yes, a little bit. Yeah, he talked about.
He started telling us about Olympus Wrestling, and then I'll shorten that down because he could go on about that for 12 hours. But basically, it's American Idol, but with pro wrestling. You put 3 old wrestlers, put them as the judges. 2 guys wrestle, they get judged, move on, so forth and so on. Then you find America's Next Top Wrestler. And I thought it was a great idea. My dad thought it was a great idea, so we all kind of sat there and whatever. And Jerry said, I've pitched that idea to about 25 other people, and nobody else will think it'll work, and yada, yada, yada. So from 2016 to March of this year, or probably more like December of last year, it was all about Olympus. We actually got a casino to pay for it, went, shot the pilot, whatever. Pitched it around to a couple people, and nothing. If we did get a deal, it wasn't worth our time. Or if we did get a deal, it was the TV station wants a producer to produce it. And Jerry said he's not dealing with any TV people getting in wrestling because that's what he had to deal with at TNA. And he dealt with it, working for Vince, and he said it's just never a good idea. So we kind of just left it where it was. But they're still working on it. Then I would say around Thanksgiving of last year, my dad has the idea for the Roku channel and calls Jerry up and tells him about it. And, Jerry kind of likes the idea. He doesn't even know what a Roku is, but he said it sounds pretty good. And we thought, what a better way to legitimize yourself than to make the first name of your channel Jarrett. And actually, that was Jarrett's idea because he said, once you do this, you're going to have a lot of copycats. But he said, if you make your wrestling channel Jarrett Parsons, he said, how can they copyright that? Or how can they copy that? I mean, that's our last names. So there's no way for them, if you create the classic wrestling channel, someone's going to come right behind you and create another classic wrestling channel called the same thing.
Sure,
but
and also
with
your
last names in it.
Yeah, and with his last name in it, it makes it seem more legit. I mean, honestly, if it was just some Roku channel and it said Classic Wrestling, I'm not going to add it to my list. By the way, I've been with Roku since I'm one of the first models. So I've been with them for a long time. I love the idea. And as more things come available, app-wise, you can get almost anything. They even have hidden channels, which I don't dabble in that much. But I'd love Roku also. For me, everyone's had problems with the WWE app recently. I've had zero problems. And it works really good. But with his name attached to your channel, it makes me want to talk to Jerry about it. Makes me want to talk to you about it. If it was just say Classic Wrestling and I seen a bunch of people I didn't have any idea, with you being part of him being part of it, it does make it legit.
Yeah, and that was kind of the idea for putting a name on it. And of course, he was always big on that anyway because it was always Jarrett Promotions is always what he put in his poster, and that's what he just kind of gave us a piece of advice. That was always the best way to do it. Get put your name on it, and there's no other way that anybody else could create another company with a similar name unless they happen to have the last name Jarrett, which not a lot of people do, or Parsons, which a lot of people don't have that name yet.
Right.
But,
That's perfect idea. I love that. So.
But yeah, you were talking about Portland and that Harley Race Billy Jack Haynes match.
Well, I don't remember a lot of this stuff I had on video. I'll be honest with you, VHS. I've went through the Continental stuff, and a lot of the Continental stuff that y'all have. And if you don't know what we're talking about, please go to the channel and check it out. I was a huge Nightmares fan, and just Continental was just Memphis Junior to me, kind of. And I'd get to see a lot. Yeah, I'd get to see a lot of my. The same guys, but they would be feuding with different people, and I'd be like, man. And then the Nightmares were never really caught on in Memphis, but they did in Continental. But most of the stuff on the Continental page and the Memphis page, I've seen a lot of that stuff. But when you said Harley Race, Billy Jack Haynes, I'm like, I don't ever remember seeing that on a VHS. So where did you guys just find that, or did y'all get that from the Owens family?
That was through the Owens family. A lot of people like to think, especially there's a guy on YouTube. I like to call these guys what they call themselves, except I put parentheses around them. They call themselves wrestling historians. because they go and put somebody else's footage up on YouTube and monetize them, make money off of them.
Yeah.
Or they transfer it over to DVD and then they sell them to all their buddies, or you use someone's audio files on your podcast and that makes your podcast super. If you know who I'm talking about.
Well, I thought I just thought maybe I would just take Jim Cornette's show and put it on here and just so
right,
you can listen
from a historical standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that'll make you a historian. So a lot of people like to think that Barry Allen doesn't own any of that stuff, that he just let it all go because the TV station did it all, or the TV station they were using had all the tapes in their library and they all got thrown away or whatever, and that's actually not true. Barry does have limited amounts of it. He doesn't have a lot of it, but he does have limited amounts of it. So some of it we do kind of have to just search and find and grab whatever. But no, actually, that was one of the few things that came off of a master, and that's something that I had never seen before until I actually didn't know I was doing. That was the main event on that episode, or I think it's the only match on that episode actually, because it's the last episode of 1983. And me and my dad are kind of sitting there in front of the camera, and I said, "Well, what's the matches this week?" And he said, "It's Harley Race versus Billy Jack Haynes 2 out of 3 falls." I said, "Do you have it with you?" Because I'm going to watch it. Because when we get done, I'm watching that, and that's what I did. I sat right down and watched it. It was unbelievable.
I'm a huge Billy Jack mark. I mean, I loved what they did with him in Portland, and until you got to reading kayfabe sheets, you didn't know what was going on backstage with Billy Jack and some of the stuff he's done recently. It's really weird when I think. Even RF Video said that they had a shoot with Billy Jack that they can't even release because of some of the stuff that he said. So and then he came to Memphis and worked. And when he was in Memphis, he was kind of hard to deal with, is what people said. But when it came to working, when he was in the ring, they really, they didn't get stiffed or nothing like that. But I remember the guys, because I hung around with a lot of the guys during that time, and they was just like, Billy Jack, he just sticks to himself. He's just really weird and all kinds of stuff. Because a lot of them were, I don't know if people know this, but a lot of times when the heels hang around, when it came to Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee and maybe Jimmy Valiant, the top guys, they didn't hang around each other. They had their own crew of people that they rode with, and like Dundee and Dutch and those guys would have usually the younger guys. They would drive and let the younger guys drive them, and Dutch was almost famous of having guys like Undertaker and guys like that under his wing kind of thing. Right. And he didn't hang out with Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee after the matches. And it usually was heels were with heels. They traveled, and babies were with babies. So you got a little bit of a different feel there with them. To me, the collection of all the stuff that you have is. I don't know. This is a question I'm going to ask, so I'm going to ask it from the other side. So, and I know why, because I'm a fan of a lot of the older stuff, but I'm not that, and I love Jim Cornette, I really do. I've known him forever, but I'm not that person that just shits on everything that's new. I don't do that. I think athletes are even better now when it comes to football and everything than they were maybe 20 years ago. But I love this old stuff. So I'm going to go on the other side. I'm going to ask you, why the hell would anybody want to watch all this old wrestling?
Well, for one, you're either somebody your age that grew up watching it and you want to rewatch it, because every time Sanford and Son are on, the family's on, I still watch it because I grew up with my dad watching it. And I'll watch it again. And
I'm Good Times, by the way. I'll do that with Good Times.
Oh, yeah. Good Times. And I've seen every episode of Seinfeld about 10 times. And every time it comes on, I still watch it, and I'll repeat the lines, and all the people in the room think I'm nuts because I already know what he's going to say, but I laugh anyway. It's just, honestly, I think it's perfect for the time period that we are in, which old is new again. 2019 winds up being the first year that vinyl has outsold CDs, I think, since 1986.
It has, and and it's I bought my 3 years ago, I bought a record player again, and that's what I grew. I started with the record player, 8-track, cassette. I went through them all. So, I bought, and that shows you that there is the nostalgia that people are wanting to see. And we do a show here on the brand where was it really that good, in the sense that what we watched back in the day, we watch it now is, was it really that good, or we were just, just really naive to everything that was going on? I think you hit it. I mean, people of my age, now you check out the Raw stats, they said from last week, 50-year-old guys are watching Raw, and there's 50-year-old guys that come back to something like the Roku channel. And I was just trying to be on the other side. I know why I watch it is that there's some Continental stuff there, or there's some Memphis stuff. Mainly I've seen most of it, but you're thinking, I want to see, I do want to see, was it that good? I think it's a great learning tool. I've got workers that, that listen to this podcast. I think if you go out and you study some of these interviews and some of these angles, if you're a local guy who promotes in Dyersburg, Tennessee, or we have American Hostile Championship Wrestling who sponsors this, it's a great tool. You can grab some of those old angles for Portland that nobody has ever seen, or some of those interviews, and you can use them. It's a great tool.
Absolutely.
And my other question is, and you kind of answered it a little bit, but you were talking about the process and everything, and I noticed you guys have some sponsors sometimes that come up on the channel when it first starts. But how does a Roku channel make money? You're free, so how does, with an app, it's about downloads. You get a certain percentage of the downloads if you're huge. How does a Roku channel make money?
Well, it honestly, we make money all through the commercials and through the sponsors. Our two biggest sponsors are Stephen P. New, who might be the most famous lawyer in the history of the world, because it seems like anyone you run into somehow knows who Stephen P. New is, because he sponsors Cornette's podcast too.
Right.
Great guy, absolute phenomenal guy, great wrestling fan, great person. He's invited all of us to eat at his house once, and I didn't get to go. I was coaching football, but my dad said the steak was big enough; it was falling off both sides of the plate. Said it was a great time, and they're getting ready to go to game in December, and I don't think I'll be able to go because it's during the week, and I'm a school teacher as well. But anyway, Big Camo's the other one. They're also great guys as well. Pat Trammell is a good guy there from Big Camo. But anyway, I had to plug that real quick.
Plug that. I mean, that's my last name too. I may holler at him and get some sponsorship. So there you go. So it's kind of like the old fashioned, and people, it's no secret the way I do my podcast. I have sponsors. They help me pay. I do it just like radio. And so it's kind of like the old television show who you've got the content and you put, you have commercials and people sponsor. So cool. I wondered.
It's the same idea as radio. It's exactly the same idea as radio. And on top of those two guys that sponsor it, we do have some other commercials that play here and there through an ad agency, and you get some money off of that. But the thing that's really going to help us is the Amazon Prime deal, because Amazon Prime actually pays more than what Fire Stick does. So we actually just have a title was just released. I didn't mean to cut you off, and I'll get back.
That's okay. No.
We had a title that was just released on Amazon Prime. So if anyone has Amazon Prime, you need to go check it out. It is the best of Bruiser Brody. It's the best matches that we have out of our catalog of him. You'll get to see him against Nick Bockwinkel. You'll get to see him, a lot of stuff from Southwest, him against Scott Casey. Let me think. There's a great music video in it where they were calling him the $1 Million Man in Texas. And every match he was putting guys out on a stretcher. It's a phenomenal music video. But there's just a lot of great stuff from a lot of different territories, but the majority of it's focused around Southwest, and some of those Southwest matches that he's in haven't been overplayed a lot. It's great. It's 2 hours. Again, if you have Amazon Prime, it's absolutely free to you. But there's another way that we're going to start making some ad revenue. But the idea originally was not to make money. That was not the original idea.
You can say that. I understand that. I don't feel that way with what I started either. You know, I've been doing this 200-something episodes, but when you put the work that you guys put into it, and I put the work that me and my co-host Lance, we put into it, we do like to say we make a little money. It's nice to make a little money for your labors. So.
Right. But the real reason why we wanted to do it is because tape trading was great. Until they're your tapes, you know.
You're right.
Tape trading isn't so cool anymore, and you don't really find it that entertaining anymore. So we've cleaned up a lot that was on YouTube. Our distributor's done a great job that does their DVDs of anything that we put through them on DVD. Somehow they have some sort of spider tracking system, they call it, and it can catch anywhere that match has ever been played on the internet, and it pulls it off. So some of that stuff has been pulled off of YouTube. There's still a lot of it out there, and there's still some guys selling DVDs and whatever. Again, those wrestling historian guys. And that was the real reason, is to give people an option to not have to buy from them anymore. You know, don't buy from the people that don't own it and aren't making any money, or just making money off of it when they've never done anything to deserve to make money off of it. And we've done a good job with that, because we've had about half a dozen of those guys since March contact us and try to tell us that, you know, you don't own it and whatever, and then we just provide the paperwork, and then they shut up because they're mad that no one's watching their stuff anymore.
Right, yeah. Unfortunately, I was part of that historian group back in the day when it came to trying to get. well, I have a story. I've never told this story, and this is perfect. We'll end it up here. Jim Cornette had some old Memphis stuff, which you've probably seen. It's the scaffold match, Jerry Jarrett and. What is?
No, I got a cool story to tell you when you're done.
All right. Yeah. And so he transferred all those. He got them, transferred them to videotape. One of our mutual friends sent it to me, and then I put it out in my little Wrestling Riot tape update, whatever you want to call it, for sale. Because it was classic. I mean, what the hell, you know? So Jimmy does this promo on me on a VHS, where another one of our friends says to me, and he says, I get, because he was a subscriber to my newsletter. He says, I get Wrestling Right, and Tramble's got my damn tapes. I spent a bunch of money doing that. So I took him out, you know, just as soon as I heard that he was mad at me for selling them, because I took him out of the list and didn't sell them anymore, because I thought, yeah, this guy spent money doing this. And that's the way I always, if anyone ever contacted me and said, hey, you know, don't do that. This is our money. We're getting money for these another way. Don't do it. I always didn't do that. So yeah, go ahead. Give me a quick story.
What year do you think that match happened, the first scaffold match?
I can't remember. It was a long time.
73 or 74?
Something.
Maybe?
It was in the. It was because it was before my time. So I started watching wrestling in 78. So it was, I would say, between 72 and 78. And I'm horrible with years, but I just know the year that I started. So it was sometime between there.
Okay, I'm going to say it was pre-75. And here's the cool part. Here's something that I have on this cooler than Jim Cornette getting a hold of the Holy Grail and being able to go and dub it. When Jim Cornette got it, it wasn't on the original reel. When Jim Cornette got it, it was the tape that they transferred it to, if that makes any sense. So most of our masters were on 2-inch tape, and then they went to 3/4 tape. So a lot of the stuff that we have isn't even the original master. We used to be on 2-inch, and they dubbed it over to 3/4 to 2-inch away. Well, in this case, Jerry didn't throw the original reel away. He took that reel, I don't even know if it's 1-inch, 2-inch, whatever it is, dubbed it to 3/4, and then I imagine that's the one that Cornette got. Because, ironically, it's funny you bring this story up. About 4 weeks ago, my dad hosted a Memphis show with Jerry. Any new episodes that come up with Memphis will be my dad and Jerry. They wasn't able to go. It was just during football season. I'm slammed and wasn't able to do it. Jerry gets this box out at the end of when they're taping. Says, I want to show you something. He said, I was upstairs in my attic just cleaning some stuff out. And he said, I found something that I haven't seen in 40 years. And my dad says that this reel is like a movie reel from the 50s, and it's that match.
Oh wow, yeah.
But now it's the original reel, and Jerry's like, send that in and get it ran off because I don't know. He just said, I don't know whatever happened to the copy that was ran off before, which I'm sure he forgot that Cornette probably kept it. But we got to thinking about it, and we're like, oh, that's Jerry, why is this reel so big? I mean, my dad said it's huge. I mean, it's probably a whole 2 or 3 hour reel.
Right.
And Jerry said, I don't know why that reel would be that big. So we have a company that we send all of our stuff into. We're going to send it into them. But, man, wouldn't that be something if that whole card was on that reel?
Oh, man, yeah. I mean, there's stuff
Not
there
just that match.
that we never see. That's the thing about it is, there's weird things. When you're a tape trader, you wish you could go back in time and ask them to keep everything. That's when I was tape trading. Don't race that. Give it to me. I'll pay for it. But
if I could go back in a time machine, I'd go back and punch Ole Anderson right in the face and say, what the hell are you doing taping over these tapes?
It was so expensive, though. That was, that's the deal that they was on Memphis was on they was making good money. But
here's the thing. They say it's expensive, but when you're drawing 10,000 people in the Omni every 2 weeks, how expensive is it to keep your tape library?
Right on. Yeah, that's true. And that was nothing.
And when you're selling out every Monday night in the Mid-South Coliseum, how much harder would it have been? So they can say it was expensive, but when it comes down to it, Jerry probably still has the first dollar he ever made, I guess.
Probably does. Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on. Guys, same bad time, same bad channel on the best little wrestling podcast in the business. Be there! And as everyone knows, I love my mama. Thanks, man.
Tweak or tweet, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. If you don't, I will cry, I will call the FBI.
B&B Collections is an exclusive sponsor of Dynamite. That's right. Let me tell you about this real cool place right here in Jonesboro, Arkansas. It is located as part of the Treasure Hunt Flea Market at 4012 Southwest Drive. They have all kinds of fun stuff and specialize in all things nerdy. But also, they got all kinds of cool, spooky stuff for Halloween. That's right. I dropped by, I see original artwork, wrestling figures, Funko Pops, comic books, DVDs. They have Chucky stuff, Jason, Freddy, a little bit of everything. And here's what they're doing. That's right, the Halloween special. Guys, if you walk in right now and tell Brendan or Bo that you heard about B&B Collections on STSPod, you will get 30% up to November the 2nd, 30% off your total purchase.
I think I am going to be Harley Quinn this year.
Graphic design is very important. Your logo is the first image potential customers see. What kind of impression would you want to make today? Need a podcast logo or a t-shirt design? KT does art. Her name has become synonymous with quality and professionalism in the graphic design community. She specializes in graphic design, painting, and more. She provides affordable commissions and professional quality with a timely delivery. Contact KT via email at kt_doesart@yahoo.com. Check out her Instagram at instagram.com/kt_doesart.
That was another great episode of Shooting the Shiznit. Looking for contestants for Who Wants to Be the Best Shiznitter Ever? That's right, contact me and be a contestant on Who Wants to Be the Best Shiznitter Ever. A big shout out to our sponsors this month. Also, remember, we have a Patreon for only $1. That's patreon.com, Shooting the Shiznit without the G. A special thanks to Bob McGee at Pro Wrestling's Between the Sheets, Gene Jackson at locals2legends.com, and Sean Garmer at Wrestling to Max website. You can reach me on Comic Book Mark BT on Twitter, at BT Shooting the Shiznit on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook with a Shooting the Shiznit Facebook page. We have the Cool Kids Wrestling and MMA Talk Facebook group. If we don't like you, we'll kick you out, but you also have to ask to get in. All the archives are at www.stspod.club. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Player FM, Podcast Addict, Spreaker, Spotify, and all the fun podcast players. Podcast Roll Call. A big shout out to Creative Control. Keeping it 100. Memphis Memories with Randy Hales and my buddies over there at P3 Radio, Max and Josh. Guys, I am Brian Trammell. Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars.